Welcome to the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Blind. We're back again, Season 3, Episode 4, I think. I think we got the count up. We're starting to pump these out a little more frequently, and I'm starting to lose count. I am apologetic for the late podcast as we're on a Saturday afternoon approaching Sunday, where kickoff will happen at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. But we do have a special guest today. No, not Austin from Ajax. He's lost that specialness because he's been on it frequently. We have a returning guest. Can you guess who it is? And I'm sure our guest is going to do the Buffalo Bills song to introduce who she is.
The Bills make me want to shout.
It's the lady from upstairs. She's back for the first time in Season 3. There's been a long absence. What have you been doing upstairs all this time?
Busy. Just extremely busy. I don't know what, but I've been busy.
Busy doing, we don't know, right? Busy, we don't know. Okay, fair enough. Well, welcome back. I know you're excited about football season. How would you rate your excitement about NFL season on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm just as excited as when you see Barney in the mornings. I'm just as excited.
Well, I'm glad the audience out here would know who Barney is.
Well, let's just guess. Barney is our pet.
Who's you? You're the lady from upstairs. We have no relationship. Okay. So right now, we've brought the lady from upstairs onto predominantly, yes, it is a sports and sports betting podcast, but the focus here is NFL. Did you come with any NFL picks ready to go?
The answer is no.
Oh, okay. So this really, really sets the table to a successful and entertaining podcast. Now, I knew this going in, that maybe you may not be prepared. I'm prepared, and I will help you, and you will make picks. Now, the great entertainment portion of the show will be that we will compare your picks that have no insight, no reason for them. Like, it probably should be illegal that you're making picks, but we will go through it, and we will mark off those picks that you have compared to mine and see who has the better record.
I do have the lineup ready, though, for tomorrow. There you go.
Well, at least that's something. Way to go. All right. So, just before we get into the picks, the agenda of the show here is absolutely going to be this. We're going to go through these Sunday lines here. We're going to compare FanDuel, DraftKings, and Bet365. Again, we want to have multiple books to choose from. There are differences, and I'll talk about some of those differences as we go through each of these games. Sunday, 1 o'clock games, 4 o'clock games, Sunday nighter, and Monday nighter. And then maybe we'll touch a bit upon your thoughts on non-football, but UFC action from the Las Vegas sphere, which is in celebration of Mexican Independence Day. Would you say that you're excited for, when you hear there's like a UFC pay-per-view, how would you rate that as far as entertainment? Do you really enjoy it at UFC?
Oh, yeah. It's good. Yeah. Definitely better than football.
Oh,
womp womp.
Yeah. And then do you normally like to wager on the UFC?
I do, but it's so unpredictable. It's hard. I don't know. It's sometimes you just watch it for the entertainment, and sometimes you bet, but I don't always win them.
And then what was your last bet? So just in general, could be anything.
Actually, last night I made a parlay. I took the Rangers and Mariners to go over 6.5.
What sport is this, by the way?
Baseball. And I took the Brewers and Diamondbacks to go over 6.5. And I gotta say,
Well, hold on, before you go, because I know what you're going to say. So when you took the Brewers and Diamondbacks, that was live in play, correct?
Yes, because I like to do live plays, yeah.
Good. And you took the over, which was what?
It was in the fourth, and it was 2-1.
2-1, but what was the over that they had?
6.5.
Okay, so what was the end result of that game?
2-1.
2-1. So baseball is very tough to predict. I'm sure there's professionals out there that would say otherwise. But yeah, that's a tough beat for sure. So yeah. I'd be remiss to say that before I forget that you can follow the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast on X at Overrated EXPER2. That's Overrated EXPER2. It's also listed on the summary here of the podcast provider you're listening on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it may be. And just to circle back, some notes about UFC. The UFC event, UFC Noche. Noche stands for what?
Night.
Night? Okay.
Yes.
UFC Noche?
Noche.
Wow, I can't believe you're Mexican. Anyway.
No,
What?
Mexican.
This whole time you're not you're not Mexican?
No.
Wow, man, you've been upstairs a long time. We've lost touch. Okay, so the UFC. So Joe Pombaliano is at Joe Pombaliano on X. He does a lot of sports, business topics on X, and he has some interesting stuff. I'm going to read some of the UFC information about tonight's card because of the uniqueness of it. So the UFC is hosting a first ever live event at the $2.3 billion Las Vegas Sphere this weekend. And here's what you need to know. So the UFC budgeted $8 million, but it's actually rose to $20 million to put on the event.
Wow.
UFC has so what's weird is that the UFC has a multi-year exclusive deal to only have events at the MGM at T-Mobile Arena. So that's where the Vegas Golden Knights play. That's where they normally have their card. But because of the Canelo fight tonight, that they're able to have a one-time exception and go to the Sphere and perform there in Vegas. How much do you think the prices are right now to currently get in for tickets? Even though you probably won't get one.
2,000.
Close, yes. So you have the currently 800 on the secondary market for floor seats. It's ranging from 2,500 to 30,000.
Oh my. What?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
There's people out there that have the money, have the scratch, and will buy it. Dana White says it's the biggest gate in UFC history, an estimated $21 million, $4 million more. Do you know who was involved in the $17 million gate, meaning the most profitable attendance? What fighter was headlined to that show? Come on. Think of a UFC fighter that's famous, that everybody like.
George St. Pierre?
Think more Irish.
Oh, Conor
McGregor, that's right, versus Eddie Alvarez. And that was back at UFC 205. And to offset the production costs, secondary sponsorship from which country you think they got? There is an oil-producing country that invests a lot of oil-producing country in the Middle East. Oh, we're still getting. I know that Saudi Arabia doesn't.
Yes.
Okay, so the offset of the production cost, the UFC secured sponsorship from Saudi Arabia as part of the country's entertainment and sports festival. So this is what the UFC has to deliver on with this sponsorship and getting the money from the Saudi investment. Fixed watermark throughout the broadcast, an in-octagon sponsor integration, shout-outs from the commentators. So when you hear a shout-out,
oh my gosh,
it's on purpose. It's because what money you paid for, okay? Inclusion in all event marketing materials, collaboration with the UFC on original content. So there you go. And then what's unique about this, because it's in the Sphere, the UFC will send force feedback through the Sphere haptic seats, enabling fans to feel the action in the octagon and from the on-screen production. So I guess it would be like the D-Box, where you go to the theater and you're watching like Twisters, and then you're moving around in the chair. How do you think that would translate to a fight?
I feel like you've been getting punched in the face. I don't know.
I guess so. You think it'd be, because half the people there would be probably hammered.
Yeah.
How many throw-ups do you think there'll be? Like people puking?
God, I hope none, but
okay.
Might be one.
And the UFC worked a 300-person creative team, including award-winning directors and producers, to create a film called For Mexico for All Time. This film is a tribute to Mexico's contributions to combat sports. It will play throughout the night with 90-second clips leading fans into each fight, which will be a unique experience in this UFC. UFC had to build a custom lighting system. The UFC will use 45 cameras in comparison to the normal 20 that we use in a pay-per-view. Dana White and the UFC have been recording the entire production process and will release it as a behind-the-scenes documentary. Wow, so it's a pretty big event, big deal for the UFC. I don't know, I'm looking at, that's great, they're doing movies and all, celebrating Mexico, but I hope it doesn't take away from the actual fighting part of the card. So Sean O'Malley, the guy who has the clown-looking hair, he's highlighting the event. So he'll put his title on the line. So that's it for the UFC conversation. We're here for NFL football. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Just like our wedding day. There you go. All right.
Wait, we're married?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're not Mexican? Okay. Anyway, here we go. We're going to move on to Sunday's card, Week 2 in the NFL, and what I can say about Week 1 in the NFL from a betting perspective. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of unpredictable, picks here on this podcast. But what I will tell you is that I'm going to try to pump out another podcast before tomorrow, which I don't know if I can do it. Again, I failed last week and I might fail this week, and that's for props. But I will tell you, keep an eye on teams and star players in week 1 that did not get a lot of touches. So Kincaid, tight end for the Buffalo Bills, for example, right off the bat, he got 2 passes on that Thursday nighter. And right from there, you can tell that teams hear and know when they're watching film that maybe they did not feed the ball to the guys that make the money, and they'll go out of their way to do so. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your props, the desire to get these guys in the game. So before we, again, I forgot about this and I should bring this up, is on Thursday night we've seen the Buffalo Bills absolutely dismantle the Miami Dolphins. And, you know, we could talk about this because the Dolphin season looks to be in jeopardy with the loss of Tua with another concussion. Now, some of the thoughts in this game were Buffalo was coming in as a dog. If most lines finished at 2.5 in favor of the Dolphins. Now, I did do a good job of looking at the lines and grabbing the Dolphins at a 1.5, you know, on Wednesday to try to say, hey, I'm not going to wait till the last minute. If I like a line, I'm going to grab it. And even though they just got pummeled, I didn't like the way their offense was moving the ball. Tua with 3 picks, one ugly ass pick for a touchdown. Disgusting. You could tell he was feeling the pressure and forcing the play. And then comes, you know, the play where he takes off out of the pocket on 4th down. He has a 1st down, and he decides to go head first into the Bills defender, and he goes down with a concussion. Ugly, ugly scene. Have you ever seen somebody with a concussion where they have the stiff arm? Like it's their fingers go up like this. And it's not the first time viewers have seen Tua do this. And there's a lot of debate about people suggesting shut it down, end the career. Do you think you can tell somebody, you know, you should retire, or is that 100% a personal choice? What do you think?
I think he needs. I think he needs to retire. I think he is being recommended, and to retire. Like, if it's like a reoccurring thing.
Yes. For him.
Like it's not going to get better. Concussions are bad.
So your theory is concussions are bad. That makes sense.
Pretty bad.
And I agree with you, but I would say that the odds are it's probably a good idea for him to maybe walk away. But I don't think you can tell somebody. I think it's totally up to them. They got to make the decision. When you're playing a professional sport, like in the NFL, there is a window, a very, very, very short window of your life that you can be in that position. He has got the big contract with locked-in guarantees, but, he should have at least a thought of maybe hanging them up, but I don't think anybody can tell you that it's time. It's up to you. The Dolphins got to be careful, and I think when they signed the contract, they locked themselves in, right? It's tough in the NFL because there's periods of time when you build a team that you're kind of backed into a corner that I'm pretty sure they had some misgivings about signing Tua, to a big contract with guaranteed money, hoping for the next 4 or 5 years he was the guy, and it looks like he probably won't be the guy with these injury issues. And now they have a team that is a talented team who's expected to contend. Now what do they do? Where do they go? They're stuck. They're kind of in limbo. So they're forced to go out and get a quarterback. Let's say Ryan Tannehill. Somebody on Twitter or X had an interesting suggestion. Maybe the idea is to maybe go get Russell Wilson if Justin Fields continues to be the guy in Pittsburgh. Maybe Russell Wilson's your guy, but you got to do something. All right, that team is built because in the NFL, if you don't have a quarterback and you miss your window of time, there could be years upon years where you may never get a sniff again to be an actual contender, and that's where the Dolphins are. Tough spot, but their season is done. Quarterbacks are dropping. Jordan Love, the Green Bay Packers, looks like he's not ready to go. Didn't expect him to go as MCL sprain. So we have 2 major starting quarterbacks that are already on the shelf. And here we go to start the year. Who knows what that'll look like at the end of Sunday. And speaking of Sunday, 1 o'clock, we got a big playoff rematch. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions, who squeaked out an overtime win over the LA Rams. All $3, and I'm going to look at $3 here: FanDuel, DraftKings, and Bet365. And we're going to pick the spreads and then maybe some over-unders I may or may not like. But myself and the lady from upstairs will go with the spreads. But if you compare the sports books, all are 7.5. So depending on who you take, they're pretty much all the same. So it doesn't matter which sports book you are. So 7.5 points. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have injuries in their secondary, which is not good for an explosive offense that they're playing, the Detroit Lions. But there's something about this Tampa Bay team, and I know that the Austin from Ajax shares the same view. There's something about this team that I don't think they get the respect. I think with Todd Bowles, defensive-minded head coach, they got to have they got the experience against the Lions. They know who they're playing. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover 7.5, so that's what I'm going to take. I'm going to take the Buccaneers to cover 7.5. Now, lady from upstairs, 7.5 point favorites are the Detroit Lions. What side would you choose? Hello, lady from
Probably
upstairs.
the Lions. I'm looking.
You're looking at the Lions?
Yeah.
You suck.
Sorry.
You
I would go with the Lions.
You suck. Okay, so that's the first pick. We're on different wavelengths. You're from upstairs and I'm from downstairs, and it's starting to show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ain't lying about that.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, we're moving on to the New York Jets. Jets. Aaron Rodgers 0-1, losing on the Monday Nighter against the San Francisco 49ers. They played the Tennessee Titans on short rest. The Tennessee Titans pissed away, really choked against the Chicago Bears, and gave that game away. They should be 1-0, but they're 0-1, so a battle of two 0-1 teams. The New York Jets on the road. They're the road favorite, and most books have them at 3.5, and over-under is 41.5. DK has it at 41, and Bet365 has it 41. I do think the Jets will cover here, and I'm going to take the Jets. And if I look at the FanDuel, 3.5 minus 105, and DK minus 105, and Bet365 minus 110, obviously I'm going to take the FanDuel one because it gives me a few dollars back in my pocket for that bet. So that's why you shop around. All right, lady from upstairs, the New York Jets are 3.5 point favorites. The Tennessee Titans are at home. They're underdogs. Who do you like here?
Jets.
The Jetss. Mm-hmm. I'm just misspelled that, by the way. Anyway, all right, the Seattle Seahawks, who did squeak out. They handled the Denver Broncos. It wasn't easy. They gave up two safeties in the first half. They're another road favorite, taking on the 1-0 New England Patriots. The Seattle Seahawks are 3.5 point favorites on FanDuel. 3-point favorites on DK, and Bet365 only 3-point favorites. So depending on who you like will determine the book you would go with. And Seattle, they just can't pull away. I don't see them smashing teams. I think that they should win this game. Can they cover 3.5 or 3? I do believe so. The New England Patriots absolutely crushed people's survivor pool dreams last week, with many taking the Cincinnati Bengals, and the upset did occur. Everybody not too happy about that. But does the magic continue into week 2? I don't think so. I like the Seattle Seahawks, and I'll take them at -3. And I would take, I have to take it on DraftKings at -3, -115, even though the -3 at -110 at Bet365 is the better bet. The better because it's a less investment. I'll get more money in my pocket. Because I'll tell you what, lady from upstairs, how stupid Bet365 is. Although they own the best sporting app experience, it has been a month and a half, almost a month and a half, I'd say almost 4 weeks since I sent them my information to get back on the site, banking information, like information that's personal information. They have still not got back to me. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't care how backed up they are. That means they don't give a shit if I'm on their service or not. And that tells you a lot about this service. And another thing about Bet365, absolutely disgusting. If you guys have probably heard about this, last Monday night, let's get to it 1 minute. I had this saved on X. Do you ever bookmark on X when you see something?
No.
No? Well, would you say you're an X person or you're like more of an Instagram person?
Neither.
Wow, man, you're just a ball of conversation going on here. Anyway, many Bet365 subscribers, I guess you call it, or customers, who took the 49ers running back, Jordan Mason, and their bet over 13.5 yards, rushing yards. They were sent. The original odds were minus 110. So if you bet 100, you're going to win $90 profit. But what had happened is, as we got to Monday night, we found that the Christian McCaffrey, the big star of the 49ers, was not going to play. So it gave Jordan Mason the starting running back job. That wasn't expected, and it was a surprise. Okay. So even if you bet Jordan Mason 3 days earlier in the game, Bet365 sent emails to their customers saying that, I quote, "We have identified the selection was placed in incorrect odds, and such, in accordance with our rules, we will be settled at the revised odds of minus 5,000. Wow. So what that means is sometimes they may post a line that was an error, but it was a mistake. It's a known mistake. What they're identifying here is the mistake is, hey, if we knew that Christian McCaffrey wasn't playing, then we would have set the odds to this.
Yeah.
So this is morally wrong. I'm sure it's covered in the rules, but they're going after the fact to change their payout because nobody knew. They set their lines, they're not honoring it, and Bet365, man, that's 2 strikes for me.
They probably have in their fine print.
They do, but it just shows you that, who knew that a sports book was not in your best interest? Who knew that, huh? But anyway, that's some disgusting situations there. But I digress, and we move on, and we talked about the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. I said I would take Seattle. What was the pick that you were making here? Seattle, New England.
I would go with Seattle too.
Okay, so you got but you do have Bet365.
I do, yeah.
So you're going to go over in the part where you can make the bet on Bet365 at minus 110. So if we both win on this one, you win a little bit more money. Good for you. Good for you. Since you can't win the lottery, worth shit. Anyway, Cleveland, which had one of the shittier performances last weekend, goes into Jacksonville that absolutely choked against the Miami Dolphins. Both teams are 0-1. The Jacksonville Jaguars at home are a 3-point favorite. And this is one of those games that, because we're on the podcast, I would say we got to take a side, but I don't think I'd be touching this game. This is kind of an unknown, factor here. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. It's not a game I'm hoping to see too much on Red Zone tomorrow. I'm gonna go Cleveland on this one. I'm gonna go Cleveland on this one to cover the 3 points because this to me is a toss 'em, a pick 'em game. I can't believe Deshaun Watson, quarterback, with another sexual assault charge against him this week. Just to let you know. So we look at the 3 sports books. The best one right now is DraftKings again at +3 at minus 102 compared to minus 110 for the other books. So I'm gonna go with DK. Have it your way. Can you name the fast food that is in reference to?
Oh my gosh, Burger King. BK.
Yeah, so it's your turn, BK.
Browns, I guess, yeah.
Browns, I got the Browns. Okay, so we'll put you to copy me once again because you can't have a single thought on your own about football. Anyway, we have the San Francisco 49ers, 1-0 San Francisco 49ers with an impressive performance over the New York Jets, heading into Minnesota. Minnesota, right now, depending on the line you look at, going back, San Francisco is a 5.5-point favorite on FanDuel, 4.5-point favorite on DK and Bet365. Some key defensive injuries that we're keeping an eye on for Minnesota, which may or may not, allow us to think Minnesota some way, somehow. But it looks like Christian McCaffrey is going to be on the IR, so he's going to be out for a few games. Jordan Mason and Deebo Samuel will carry the rock for the 49ers. So I'm going to let you pick first, so this way you can't copy me. So do you like the Minnesota Vikings, or do you like them to cover, or do you like the San Francisco 49ers in this one?
49ers.
You like the 49ers?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to get you on Bet365 plus or minus 4.5 because that would be more valuable for you.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. And then I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings.
What?
So that means to cover. To cover. I don't think they'll win.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to take it on FanDuel plus 5.5. And I just like the idea. I think it's early in the season. Kevin O'Connell, coach. I think we'll move the ball against the 49ers. The 49ers did a ridiculous job, and I mean that in a positive way, against the Jets. They owned the ball. They kept Aaron Rodgers off the field, and that really, I don't think they'll be able to run in Minnesota like they did against the Jets. So Minnesota will have the ball in their hands. I think this game will be close, and only saying they'll cover based on this game being in Minnesota. How does that sound? Good?
Good.
Good? Good. All right, Indy, heading into Green Bay. Indianapolis Colts are now 3-point favorites. Unless you're on Bet365, they're only 2.5-point favorites. This line had switched due to the Jordan Love injury. So there's like, I don't know, what is it, an 8-point swing potentially that occurred because of this quarterback injury. This is a really tough situation for the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers look to be going with Malik Willis, who got a couple snaps in the last game in Brazil, but really looks really poor heading into the last couple seasons with the Tennessee Titans. There is question based on if you just watched him play, can he throw the ball or what? Like he's absolute, the way at least he was, absolute garbage. And if it doesn't work out, and I've heard this comment already, I'm not creating something new here, it's on the Green Bay Packers. I mean, if your backup quarterback situation is piss poor, it's on you, and it's on LaFleur, it's on the organization. So hopefully LaFleur can get something out of Malik Willis, but I don't think so. I think the Packers are dead here. And here's why I'm so fucking pissed, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the F word. Sorry out there for you older listeners that call me out and swearing. Anyway, Bet365 has the line. The Colts only 2.5-point favorites at -120. I would be all over that. There is no way without Jordan Love that the Colts don't come in here and win. But because my paperwork is under process, it's an administrative issue, I don't have access to Bet365. So I got to stick to, which I still think is a decent line, that the Indianapolis Colts will cover 3 points. I'll take that on FanDuel because it's the same as DK. What say you? What game are you going to take? Sorry, not game. What side are you going to take? The Colts?
Colts.
You're going to take the Colts at -2.5 because you have Bet365?
Yep.
I say that's unfair, and I want to put a protest when we compare our results.
Okay.
All right, the LA Chargers. And somebody just texted me asking me, why are the San Diego Chargers only 5-point favorites? And that was McVay. McVay texted me and goes, why is SD only 5-point favorites? Because they don't play in San Diego. They play in Los Angeles. All right, that's the start. That's the starter right there. So the LA Chargers 1-0 against maybe the worst team we've seen in a long time, the Carolina Panthers. The LA Chargers are 4.5-point favorites on FanDuel, 5-point favorites DK, and Bet365 also 5. Now you got to look at this. Can the Carolina Panthers, who got absolutely ass whooped against the New Orleans Saints, can they be as bad as they were against the Saints? I don't think they possibly can. Are the LA Chargers a well-oiled machine? I don't think so. I'm going to go with the surprise pick here. I'm going to say that the Carolina Panthers are going to cover. This is maybe the dumbest pick I've ever made, but I got a feeling for some reason that we're too hyped up on what we've seen in week 1, and we're not being realistic heading into game 2. Carolina at home, I'll take the 5 points with DraftKings at -110. What say you, lady from upstairs? Do you like this upset feeling that I have? Or are you going to go on the LA Charger side? Ooh, squeak.
What? The Chargers?
LAC, the LA Chargers.
Yes.
Carolina Panthers.
Are you looking at the same thing I'm looking?
What are you looking at? Are you looking at the LA Rams?
I'm looking at the Raiders and the Panthers.
The Raiders and the Panthers? You're looking at probably like next week or something.
What did I do here? That's what I was like trying to follow this conversation. Oh.
Okay, stop moving your mic.
Sorry.
All right, so I don't know where you're getting your information from, but let's assume that I got my information correct. How about that?
Okay. I must have scrolled way too far.
You've scrolled way too far. Anyway, so we have... Yeah, they play the Raiders next. No, they don't. Panthers and Chargers. No, I don't know what you're looking at.
I must have... Yeah, I think I was looking at next Sunday.
Yes,
Yeah,
because they
sorry,
play. They're in
it's
Las
gone.
Vegas. The Carolina Panthers next Sunday.
I scrolled way too low.
Oh boy! And if you beat me on these picks,
Imagine.
yeah, it's not really hard to imagine. LA Chargers, Carolina Panthers. What do you say about that?
I'm gonna say the Chargers.
You're going to say the Chargers.
Yeah.
So you're going to go against me.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to take it on DraftKings line. Just go with it.
Okay.
Anyway, next game, division rival, the New York Giants, that absolutely looked like shite against the Minnesota Vikings, getting blown out of home. Daniel Jones sacked multiple times, multiple picks. Apparently fans were staying after to boo their own quarterback when he was leaving the building. Take on the Washington Commanders, and who lost in Tampa Bay. 1.5 point favorite are the Commanders on all books. Now, this is just an ugly matchup. I don't see how Washington loses to New York, but then again, is New York that bad? And it's a division matchup. I'm still going to go with the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels is at least going to get some rushing yards here. I'm going to take it on FanDuel minus 110, and that's obviously a 1.5. So what say you on this matchup?
I think I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Giants it is. I don't think there's much to talk about in this game. Las Vegas and Baltimore. The Las Vegas Raiders travel across country to take on the Baltimore Ravens. This would probably be the number one contender for survival pool pick of the week. The Ravens are 8.5 to 8 point favorites on some books, and I don't think there's a sniff at all to the Raiders having any hope in hell to take on and make the Baltimore Ravens 0-2 to start the season. I don't see it happening. It's not going to happen. I'm going to take the Ravens -8 on DraftKings. And what about yourself?
Ravens.
Okay. I should have made you just go Bet365 lines because that's the only site you have, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
I have FanDuel, but I don't really.
Do you have any
go on
money
it
in the
too much.
FanDuel?
No.
Why don't you like FanDuel?
I like the Bet365 app better. I think it's easier to navigate. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just used to it.
So you don't want to show a support of solidarity by boycotting Bet365?
Hey, they haven't done anything to me.
Oh, so they're solid citizens
no
of your
beef
book.
with them.
You got no beef with them, okay. Well, that's nice for you. New Orleans, 1-0. New Orleans Saints, who spanked the Carolina Panthers, travel to Dallas, taking on the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. The Dallas Cowboys, which I said, and I'll keep on saying, are the biggest frauds in football. You'll see in the first half of the season, the talk about glory, the talk about heading to New Orleans to take on whatever team it is in the Super Bowl. Are they contenders? Are they for real? No, they're not. They're going to have an outstanding beginning to the season. Then the wheels will start falling off, and we'll be back to square one like it always is. So in this game, the Dallas Cowboys are 6 point to 6.5 point favorites over the New Orleans Saints. And I'm thinking this contradicts what I'm going to say. I was about to say I like New Orleans, but again, I talked about how the Cowboys have a hot start, first game at home. Do they come out and just smoke the Saints, Derek Carr? I don't know. But I'm going to go, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go with the Saints. And I'm going to get them to cover 6.5. So I'm going to take the FanDuel line, which is -120, and it's 6.5. So Saints, and this is just, maybe it's out of just pettiness. Maybe it's just out of anger and because I hate the Cowboys. And that's where emotion's getting in the way.
You can't do that.
Emotion gets in
Can't
my...
do that.
Sorry. What about you? What do you think here?
I'm going to go with the emotional side.
You're going to go with the emotional side? You're going with the Saints again?
Yeah.
Man, you're just copying me. That's what you're doing.
Can I see your notes?
No. Okay. I'm going to let you pick the next one. Now, here's an interesting matchup. It's the first 4 o'clock game. The LA Rams, Los Angeles Rams, head into Arizona to take a divisional opponent, the Arizona Cardinals, on both teams 0-1. Now, depending on which sports book you're looking at, with DraftKings and Bet365, the Rams are the favorite, and on FanDuel, the Arizona Cardinals are favorite. So it depends on what side you like. So for FanDuel, they have the Cardinals a 1.5 points favorite, minus 102, while DraftKings and Bet365 have the Rams at a point favorite. But the Bet365 line of minus 105 is more of an investment than the DraftKings line. And this one, the Rams are beat up. They got a lot of injuries. Can you name one of the injuries on the Rams?
No.
You should know this.
Are they in my lineup?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, God.
Who was in your lineup that we took out?
I have no idea.
Come on, think about it. The LA Rams, there was a player we took out earlier this week.
Panaqua? Something? Oh, no, hold on.
Panaqua.
Puka?
Yes, Puka Nakua, not Panaqua. Panaqua. I want to get you
combining the first and the last name.
I want to get you an LA Ram jersey that has Panaqua on the back. Who the hell? I'd love you to go to a game. Who the hell's Panaqua? That's right. All right, so I'm going to let you pick first. What team is it that is going to win here today and cover the points?
Rams.
The Rams?
The Rams.
You going to take the Rams?
I'm going to take the Rams.
You're going to take Rams, huh?
Yep.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure
Are
about
you goddamn sure you're going to take Rams?
Yes.
All right, that means you got a point and a half, minus 120, so that means you're going to go on FanDuel.
Can you imagine somebody tunes in right at this point?
Well, tune in to Overrated Experience and head over to the X box and just try to get us on Twitter. Anyway, oh shit, I put it on the wrong spot. Okay. Anyway, the LA Rams is your pick at plus 105. And I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Cardinals. And I'm going to take it on DraftKings. And I'm going to do it plus 105.
No, the Rams are not at plus. They're at minus 105.
Okay.
You said plus.
Thank you for all those who are actually listening on the podcast. But the person who's on the podcast didn't pick up the fact that I'm using 3 different sports books.
Right.
And she's literally looking at Bet365. And if you press rewind, you'll hear that I said that the LA Rams are favorites on DraftKings and Bet365, but not on FanDuel. Shit.
I hate football.
Okay, jeez. God, we're not even drinking.
I love football.
We're not even drinking. There's no reason to have a mind lapse. Okay, the Cincinnati Bengals are heading into Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Excuse me. This is the big matchup of the 4 o'clock hour. The Cincinnati Bengals broke many hearts, many survivor pools by dropping a home loss to the New England Patriots. Do they stand a chance going into Kansas City? The Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions back-to-back years, much improved, higher hopes, even higher than 2 back-to-back Super Bowl years with the lineup they put together this offseason. They are 6-point favorites. If it's FanDuel you're looking at, they're only 5.5-point favorites. Cincinnati, I don't know what they are. There's talk about, Joe Burrow's wrist is an issue, and you'll see him flexing his wrist, and he doesn't have enough, power in that wrist. And Jamar Chase, people are talking about that his game's been figured out, and he's not that top tier receiver anymore. I think that's a little too much. T. Higgins won't be playing, it looks like. And Kansas City looks like they are ready to kick the ass of the Cincinnati Bengals. But let's let the lady from upstairs go first here. 6 points or 5.5 points. Which team is walking away with the win? What side do you take?
I hate the Bengals. They lost because of them last week. Okay, I guess I'll take the Chiefs.
You're going to take the Chiefs. Okay, so Bet365 has the Chiefs at minus 110, so that makes sense. You have the better odds. Okay. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to go with them to cover. For blood, yeah. Okay, sorry, you went with the Chiefs, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you at 5.5 then. That's on FanDuel.
Okay.
So I'm going to take the Bengals. I'm going to take a 6. So I'm going to go with DraftKings at plus 6. So you win if Kansas City wins by 6 or more. I win if they don't lose by 6 or less. So I'll get my money back if Kansas City wins by 6. So if the game ended 26-20, you would win and I get my money back. Make sense? Excellent. You're picking it up now. Good job. There you go. Then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos. Low scoring is what is expected in this game. The line is that the Broncos are 2.5-point favorites, probably just because they're playing at home. The over-under is 36.5. 36.5. This almost makes it impossible for me not to take just because it's low. But, knowing that the Steelers won with 6 field goals, 6 field goals against the Atlanta Falcons, no touchdowns, I should just stay away from the over-under on this, or at least tease it down to 30.5. We have Justin Fields from the Pittsburgh Steelers starting again. Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, making his second start. And I'm going to tell you that I think it's the Denver Broncos that will win this game. I think it's just a home field advantage, the coin toss, and I just 2 back-to-back road wins for the Steelers. Not having it. Sean Payton's going to be ready, and I'm going to take him with FanDuel at -2.5, -115. What about you, lady from upstairs?
Steelers.
Steelers? Mm-hmm. You're taking the Steelers? Holy shit. Okay, Steelers -105 on FanDuel, plus money on draft. Okay, so I'm going to do some betting knowledge for you to see if you understand it. So right now, each of the sports books have the Steelers as 2.5-point underdogs. Now, out of the 3 sports books to decide to place this bet, FanDuel is +2.5 -105. DraftKings is +2.5 +100. And Bet365 is +2.5 -105. Which sports book should you put your money on to get the most value?
FanDuel.
No. So -105 compared to +100. What does +100 mean?
It's a plus. It's a positive.
Right. So if you're going to take the Steelers, would you put your money on the +2.5 that has -105? How much money would you get back on $100?
100.
-105.
-105.
How much would you get back?
I don't know.
You get $95 back.
Oh, okay.
If you have +100, which is even money, you would get 100 back.
Okay.
If you put it on Bet365, which is also -105, you get 95. So which book would you put it on? DraftKings?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good job. We worked it out. And we go to the Sunday Nighter, first overall draft pick. Caleb Williams is taking on C.J. Stroud, the new superstar in the NFL, quarterback for the Houston Texans. The Texans are coming off a 2-point victory on the road against the Indianapolis Colts, taking on a Chicago Bears team that limped their way and due to special teams and defense, knocked off the Tennessee Titans at home. Both 1-0 teams. The Houston Texans are 6.5-point favorites. And what line is best? If you like the Texans, you're going to like... I think DraftKings, I think I put on here is even money at 6.5. You're going to like FanDuel or Bet365 if you like the Bears. What do you say is going to happen here in this matchup?
Texans.
Texans. From where?
Houston.
Very good. So I'm going to take the Texans as well. Because I think...
You copied me.
I copied you. Why wouldn't I go with success, right? Now we move on to the final matchup of the evening.
Oh my God.
Just don't need to use my name in vain. Come on. Monday night, the Atlanta Falcons 0-1 and go into Philadelphia, take on the Battle of the Birds, the Eagles. The Eagles are favorites by 6.5 points. There is a lot of chatter that Kirk Cousins may still be injured and may not have the zip on the ball that you would think he would have coming out of training camp, which is affecting his success. So the Eagles are 6.5-point favorites. They got by Green Bay. Man, I don't buy this. I think Kirk Cousins is not in a bad situation. The Steelers' defense and I think their game plan were just, a tough matchup for any defense or for any offense. And I think it's a little too early to write the Falcons off. I'm going to have them cover the 6.5 points. Now it makes sense to go with FanDuel because the 6.5 is -106 compared to -112 and -115. And the Philadelphia Eagles, go over to the lady from upstairs. What do you think?
Eagles.
Eagles fly. Eagles. Can you do like an Eagles flying for us? No? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, all right. So you like them to cover 6.5, which would make sense that you go with Bet365 because it's -105. So that is all of these games this Sunday. Now that you've made some commitments to some of these games and you're on record taking some picks here.
Yeah.
would you be willing to place a bet right now on one of these games? Right now on your app.
I did.
You did? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be paying attention to the goddamn conversation.
That's why.
What did you place?
I did Seahawks to cover.
I know.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see. I did a 3-way parlay.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Taking a chance here.
Okay, so 3-way parlay.
Yeah.
You have the Seahawks. So I can't look and say. Okay. So you're using Bet365. You have a 3-way parlay. The Seattle Seahawks to cover 3 points.
Yep.
You have the Detroit Lions to just straight up win at minus 360, and the Jets to cover 3.5 over the Tennessee Titans. And you have an opportunity to almost 4 to 5 times increase your bet. Now, are you willing to share what the total amount of your bet with the audience? How much would you be betting?
$5.21.
$521?
$5.21. That's all I have left.
Get the hell off the podcast.
Okay.
$5.21 on the line. Not $5, not $6, not $5.50. Why $5.21? Was that what's remaining in your account?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you get on the bus now with $5.21? Maybe one way, not 2 ways?
One way.
One way. You can't even get home.
Well, I mean, unless you don't pay your fare back.
Oh my God, we got to get off the air. Okay, anyway, to the listeners out there, I'd like to thank you for continuing to listen, to support. Please subscribe so that those podcasts automatically pop up when we post it. Send us your feedback. Join us on X at Overrated, EXPER2. Instagram, you can also see us. We're going to put more content up there. My content creator, a.k.a. the lady from upstairs, has absolutely done nothing. So we expect more from her.
Very busy.
Very busy doing what? What have we seen? What is the results of this busyness?
I have children, okay?
Well, then take care of them.
I have children?
Why do they keep bugging me?
I have children.
Anyway, this podcast is out over. Pleasure was all yours. Lady from upstairs, do you have any last words?
Your spelling improved.
My spelling improved?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for the last shot at the host of the program. Was that your stomach?
No.
What was that?
I don't know. I just drink water.
Oh my God.
It's not even beer. Oh my God.
It's not even beer.
Oh my God, it's not even beer.
You know what we should do is we should do another podcast tonight. Do the same podcast with a few beers in us. What do you think? What do you think? You good?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Anyway, the podcast is over and out. Enjoy your Sunday and good luck. Bye-bye.